Hello, Lisa here. Welcome back to my channel and welcome to a very long overdue video about my traveler's notebook system and my tarot journaling system. I have so much I'm going to be sharing with you in this video. We're going to talk about the system I have, how I'm using my traveler's notebook. I'm also going to be talking with you guys about fountain pens and ink and all kinds of other like nerdy stationery things. So if you are into these sorts of topics, tune into the rest of this video. Also, just a note, I am not artistic with my journaling system, so if you're looking for something particularly aesthetically pleasing, you're probably going to be disappointed. But for me, journaling is all about what I'll use, and I've learned that if I try to get too fancy, I intimidate myself and then I don't get anything done. So keep in mind that's sort of the direction I'm coming at this from. I wanted to show you two of my traveler's notebooks. Now I do have a third one, but it's not with me at the moment. And the third one is one that I keep specifically for creative projects. So right now it's got all of my notes and outlines and goals and planning around the book that I'm writing. And thankfully I am at the end of that process, so I'm getting closer and closer to finish. But I don't have it with me because I have been keeping it at a writing station and it was just a pain to get it. So for now, these are the ones that I'm going to show you. These are both extremely different, but also kind of the same. So I'm going to go over a couple things. Now this one I'm not going to be showing you the inside of, other than just to show you how the actual notebook is set up, because this one is a super personal journal of mine. But I did want to show you this one because I found out about this little beauty from Mary Grace Faroon. I will link her channel in the description box down below. I'm sorry for the wiggle. I don't know why my camera is wiggling, but it is. Anyway, and this was really inexpensive. I think this particular notebook was $21 Canadian or something. I think it's even cheaper in the States. I will try to remember to put a link for this one down below, but if not, check Mary Grace's video because that will also have, I think, a link. But in any case, it was really inexpensive. It is real leather, which is really nice. And as you can see, it marks up really nice. Now, I like notebooks that mark up really nice because it makes them look kind of worn and used, and I just like the way that feels. This size, so this one is a standard traveler's notebook. So it's, I believe, 8.5 inches tall, and I think 5.5 or 6 inches wide. I'm not sure the exact dimensions. This one isn't listed in its description as being a particular size, but it is a personal sized, and I found that out just by looking up the dimensions and comparing against other traveler's notebooks and kind of figuring it out. But I don't have a pen loop or anything in this one, but I did want to show you how nicely it just holds onto a pen by just sort of tucking it in, and the elastic just keeps it there, and I haven't needed to add any kind of a pen loop. But I'll show you what this one looks like briefly on the inside. So this one has like a nice big pocket here and then a little smaller pocket here, and I've just tucked this cute little, I don't even remember where this came from. Oh, there we go. This one came from Bookfell Studios, which is one of the places where I get my traveler's notebook inserts from. But it's cute that it's got the pockets, and again, it's a really soft leather, and I love the way this softer leather feels. Now this one is strung so that it has, like, if you look at the back here, you can see it's got two strings, or one elastic rather, but it's got two inside. Like when you open it up, you can see that it's got like one big one basically, and then one shorter one. I don't like using the shorter one, so I haven't. A couple of other little things. Oh yes, in the back here we have this nice big pocket as well. And what I did, and I'm just going to show you this in case you ever want to do something like this, is I've cut some pieces of paper towel. These are really great to use as blotting paper in between your pages if you're writing with a really wet ink or something like that and you don't want it to smear. And I also took another insert that had grid paper and I cut it out. And this, what I use this for is to put behind a blank page when it doesn't have lines on it. It gives me like a writing guide as long as the paper is particularly thin. So I tend to keep those in here because my middle notebook in this setup is a blank book that doesn't have, it's like this Tomo River paper, which is really thin. Let's see if I can show you actually. Let's see. I think I can. So I don't know if the camera's going to pick that up. Did I put it behind just one page? Oh no, that's why it's not showing up. put it behind just one page. So Tomoe River paper is thin paper, so you get a lot of yeah, there you go. You can hopefully see the grid lines. So when I want to write straight, I'll just put that behind. Now what some people will do is buy a pencil board, but I haven't bought a pencil board yet. So that is the one. This was a great little affordable option, and if you're thinking of getting into traveler's notebooks, this is a great size. And what you do, I'll show you in my other notebook, but to get 3 inserts onto one strand, let's see if I can show you. You use a rubber band to hook 2 inserts together, and you put them behind the one rubber band, and then you can put the 3rd book in between. So 3 feels really nice in this particular size. It's not overly bulky, and I really like it. Okay, let's get into my main working traveler's notebook. So this one goes with me pretty much everywhere, although as you can see, it is a beast. So I take it with me to work every day, and I also use it at home a lot, but this is not one that I'm going to throw in my purse. So I'm going to take you on a tour of this. First, I want to tell you where I got this one. So this one is from Lamy & Co. And let's see, I think I have one of their cards in here. Yes, Lamy & Co. So they are on Etsy. And if I remember, I will link one of their videos in the description box down below because they do have a YouTube channel that they post to occasionally. This one's really nice. This is their highest end one, I believe, in the standard size. It has 3 business card pockets, so I keep some of Peggy's business cards in there for her bags and stuff. I keep some of my supportive tarot business cards in there. And I keep in this top one, as you saw, just like little reference things. So I have a discount at Taroko Studios. This is a place where I get my bracelets that you often see, my gemstone bracelets. This is my punch card for Bookfell Studios, where I get some of my inserts. And I'll explain what this is in a little bit, but it's from my little printer. I guess I can say that now. And I like to put this little Lamy & Co. one on the top. So there's a nice big pocket here in the back, and what I have in there right now, at the time I'm filming this, is a handwritten reading by post that I got done by Dustin at Modern Metaphysic Man. He does really, really nice tarot readings, and he sends you like a handwritten report of your reading, and then he also sends like a photo of the spread and a worksheet that shows the spread and the positions. It's really cool, but I keep the reading. I got that done in August. And I just refer to it every once in a while and sort of check in with where I'm at with my life as compared to the reading. So next thing I have in here, let's see if I can show you, is this wraparound, it's this plastic thing, and it's got like a big pocket on one side, and on the other it's got like a zipper pocket. So this just wraps around technically my first one notebook, but there's actually a couple things in here, and I will explain why, but usually this just wraps around my very first thing. I use this front one kind of like a dashboard, so I like to put things in here that I just want to look at when I first open my book. So right now I have this wheel that I cut out of the Wee Moon calendar for 2019 that has all the houses, astrological houses. It's just a handy dandy reference chart. And then underneath that I actually trimmed this down, but this is an oracle card that came in one of my Witch's Moon boxes. And I just really loved the message, and it really spoke to me and where I was at in my life at the time. So I keep that front and center here in my dashboard, so it's the first thing I see. And then I just really liked this little piece of artwork that came, this is by Kat Riles. And she was the creator of, I'm spacing it right now, one of the deck creators, but I just really thought that was cool, so I like to have that. And I'll sometimes just put other little pieces of art or things in the back here so that I have things that I just want to see. Here I keep some sticky notes. So these ones are not regular sticky notes. They're actually called, I think they're called Super Sticky. I have a bunch of the pads here to show you. Yeah, Super Sticky. And they've got this like little line area on the bottom. And so that's the only part that doesn't have adhesive, is just where those little lines are. So I can just, they're basically sticky along the whole back. So I'll stick a small pile of them on here, and then I have sticky notes available to me. In fact, I technically need to top this one up a little bit because I've only got like one left and I've been hoarding it. So yeah, I just like to stick some sticky notes there so that I have those available to me to use in my notebook. My inserts pretty much exclusively come from a shop on Etsy called Good Inkpressions. I don't know if you can see that here. They're really, really wonderful. They have a lot of Tomoe River paper inserts, and I love Tomoe River paper. It's just beautiful to write on, and you can get a lot of pages in a small space because it's thinner. I typically use a slightly heavier weight Tomoe River paper, but I am experimenting with a slightly lighter weight going forward just to see what I think. But this first notebook is my main planning space. So for 2019, or when I started using this system, I believe it was around June. Yeah, it was around June. I just put a really nice sticker on the front that I got in a pack of stickers for planners, and it says, "When nothing is sure, everything is possible," and I loved that. And then up at the top here, I put a sticker that says, "Choose kindness and laugh often." When I set this up, I had, look at how fancy I got. I'm too lazy to do this these days. But what I did was I had a We Moon 2019 calendar, and I cut out their little monthly synopsis, month at a glance kind of pages, and put them in here for the rest of 2019. The We Moon one is nice because it's got the dark moons and the full moons, or the new moon and the full moon rather, just highlighted on the page, which is really nice. And I added a Stay Curious sticker and a Shine sticker and this little flower. And then I added some more stickers over here. I was trying to be all fancy. You'll see that that kind of goes away. There's me in my car. Some stickers because this was my birthday weekend. But I'll show you the next one. So what I've done in this front one is I have a rubber band that I've attached these to. But my actual calendar one, it's almost full. So I've already purchased my next one. These hold about 6 months, I think, in them at a time. So what's nice about Good Ink Impressions is that you can order, so I'll just show you what this one looks like. So this is called A Week on 2 Pages, and it's undated. And it's on Tomoe River paper. It's really, really nice. And I like this format for my regular planning because it gives me a lot of space in each field, and I typically, when I'm at my best, I'm kind of bullet journaling my tasks to do and my appointments and things like that. And then I also like to leave some space at the bottom to just write a couple of lines about what I did that day. So it's kind of like a diary of like 2 to 3 sentences a day, ideally. So this is my next one, and I've already started working into this one for planning for next year. So I wanted to get that one started. I've dated it through, I don't know why I get undated. I really should just get dated, but I really like this Tomoe River paper, and these do come undated. But I haven't done anything decorative in the front, as you can see. And so anyways, I've rubber banded these together and tucked them into this spot just while I'm finishing out the old one, but then it'll just be this one. And what I've tucked into the middle here is this really cute little sticker book that I found at, I want to say it was a Hobby Lobby or something in the States. I was in the States when I found it, but it's just got a lot of really cute little planner stickers, and it just makes me happy. They're these really cute aesthetic. It's totally me. I've already used a bunch of the stickers, but I like that it's super portable and tiny, so I will keep this going forward. I don't know how I'm going to attach it because I'll only have one book in this space, and I've kind of attached it to these two. I don't know. I'll figure it out. When I move over to the next section, this is where all my stickers live. I love this 3 Fat Readers sticker that Danny Mystic made for me and her and Dustin at Modern Metaphysic Man. I love this. This is so cute, and I always want to see it. So I have one stuck on one of my books, but the other one I have just tucked in here so that I can see it. I attached my pen loop to this because I've got a bunch of these. I got like a 20 pack on Amazon of these little, they're just basically elastic that's been sewn onto a sticky pad. I love these, and I can put it just allowed me to add an extra pen loop, and I work with 2 pens. I technically work with 3 pens, which I'll talk about more in a minute. I'm all over the place. Thank you for bearing with me. But this is a great spot for it. It just matches up nicely when I close the whole thing. And it's nice because I won't have it stuck to like cardboard where it's hard to take off. I can reposition this later because I find that this sticky lets me reposition it pretty easy. In here, I mostly have like planner stickers. I have a bunch of stickers I've gotten in different tarot decks. They just make me happy to like pull them out and look at them. But it's packed full. This goldfish came from the place where I get my pens and a lot of my ink from, called gouletpens.com. And there's just a bunch of other little things. Oh, I did want to show you this though. This was a fun tip that I picked up on from somebody. So I like to have washi tape in my just available in case I need to stick something into my planner or whatever. And this was a cool tip where you just take washi tape and you wrap it around like a credit card or something. I used an old Starbucks card, and I just love having all of these little washi tapes that are available in case I need them. It's such a cool tip. I don't use it super often, but I like knowing that it's there and I have access to it. I will talk about my pens more in a minute. So in this middle, I guess it's kind of middle-ish, this is my main tarot journal, and it says, be the very best version of you. When I first started tarot journaling, I thought that what I wanted was a weekly planner setup, something kind of like what we have in this book here. And it eventually just changed. I needed something more freeform. So what I have here is a Tomoe River bullet journal style, and this has been so great. I'll show you why. I'm gonna have to like kind of be careful because there's so much personal stuff here. But I set up my index pages, and I'm a little behind in my tracking here, but this is my yearly tarot tracker. I think I got this idea from Heather Carter, and I'm not sure where she got it from, but it's using like a color code and numbering system to log all of my draws for the entire year. And I just love this. Like, you can definitely see where I've skipped days or whatever. But it's because it's color coded, I can kind of see what energy was dominant at any particular time. I can really easily spot stalker cards and that sort of thing. So that's been really cool. Oops, I bumped my camera. So I really enjoyed that. On this page, I thought I'd get artsy. I used some watercolor here, and I put over this pagan chakra poem that was in, this was in the Wee Moon calendar. And I really liked it because it was like it talks through all the chakras. And then here's where I put my 2019 year ahead cards, and for each one I listed what the card was and sort of a little bit about what the particular deck that I used, like what a message that stood out to me about that month. And this was great. I referred to this all year long. I really enjoyed having that in there. And then we get into my deck rotation log. So this has been a really cool thing that I will definitely be carrying forward. And I list what tarot deck and what oracle deck I'm working with each week. I tend to keep sticky notes, like with things I'm planning to work with, or if I'm planning, like when I was planning my Fairy Tale December, I planned out the decks that I was going to want to work with in December. And this has just been really great, and it's awesome to be able to look back and see when the last time I worked with a particular deck for a full week was. It's super handy. So before I get into sort of talking about my journaling pages, I'm going to take a little breather, and I'm going to show you my favorite journaling tool, because you've seen some photos and things. I think I found out about this little gadget from Kelly at The Truth in Story when she was talking about her journaling setup. But this is a Canon Ivy, and it is a little photo sticker printer, and I use this every single day with very rare exception. It's really easy to use. You just put the sticker paper in there, and there's an app on my phone, and I actually just go into the app on my phone and I take a picture of my daily tarot and oracle draw. Lately, my pictures have been looking like tarot, oracle, 3 Lenormand cards, and a rune, and I take a picture of the whole thing and I print it out and I stick it in my journal, and then I write about it. And it has been such an amazing part of my practice. I would be so sad if I didn't have this available, because it's made such a difference in what my tarot journaling looks like and what I'm getting out of it. I keep lots of extra paper on hand. This is a little case specifically for this device that I found on Amazon. I think it was like $15 or something. It's kind of bulky with the case, so a lot of times I don't keep it in its case. I just chuck it in my bag and I chuck an extra pack of paper in there. But I do keep all my extra papers in this case, and I have it so if I ever wanted to like travel with it or do something more rugged with it, I would put it back in this case. I also have a tendency to, when I do spreads for myself, I will put the spreads in, take a picture of the spread, and do my journaling. But I really like doing this. I'll just paste the photo in, I'll put a title on it with the date, and then I just write. And you guys, it's been so enriching to know that if I pull a spread and I've got a lot that's bubbling up, I can just write and write and write and write and write, and wherever I stop, that's where I'll put the new photo and I'll journal from that place. So I love the freedom of a bullet journal for this. This is the 64-pound Tomoe River paper, so it's a little thicker. And I have to tell you guys, so this is stuck into, let me just pull this out real quick. This is stuck into the middle, because I found when I'm doing Traveler's Notebook setups, wherever I'm going to be doing the most writing, I want that basically in the center so that there's support under it on both sides, so that when I'm writing, I don't feel like I'm kind of having to hold anything at an awkward angle. And I like also having whatever my journaling one is going to be, I like having it on its own elastic. I don't like to jump band it to anything else because I want to be able to easily pull the entire thing out and just use it like a journal and then put it back when I'm done. My elastics are getting pretty stretched because I do that a lot. Like I take this out and put it back all the time. But this is my favorite thing in here. Like I really enjoy it. I've done some ink tests in the back, and I have a little bookmark and a little clip available to me in the back. And this is a pocket that I got a bulk set of these from somewhere, I think at Michael's, and they're just little stick-on vinyl pockets that you can add to books. And I just like having a little bookmark and a clip in case I want to mark my page or I get interrupted in the middle of my journaling. It's just handy to have that there. So yeah, that is my main tarot journal, and that is how I use it. I don't have any other pages in here other than that weekly deck log and my initial tracking page. Yeah, and that's all I do in here. So I've already bought a refill, and it's with the thinner Tomo River paper. So as soon as this one is full, I'll be switching out to a thinner one because this thing has gotten so heavy and so bulky. But that is technically my second insert. So I have 2 in my planner right now, but I should only have 1 very shortly. I think by the end of next week, my first planner will be filled and I'll just be only in my new planner. And yeah, you can see how they kind of get like puffy because of all the stickers, and the stickers obviously add a ton of weight. But I love this so much. So moving on, my next insert is my YouTube planner. So I have, of course, stuck my 3 Fat Readers sticker on here. Danny sent Dustin and I each a couple of them. So I have one stuck and one that's just free floating. And then this little sticker here says, just do your thing. And I love that for YouTube. So I didn't do anything pretty or fancy in here either, but you can see like I do a lot of planning in my YouTube. Oh, here's where I tried to get fancy. This was fun. I did some watercolor painting in here and like let it drip down, and I loved it. And then I wrote on it with this really cool brush tip marker that I had, and then it turned out that this brush tip marker was actually a watercolor marker, so it stays like sticky. It's like gross. So, but then I found out I had watercolor brush tip markers that I didn't know I had, so that was fun to play with later. Here's where I played with them. So here again, I tried to get fancy. I loved doing the watercolor. I'm just lazy and I don't do it most of the time. But I wrote the wrong month up here and had to use some washi tape to fix it. But you can see my YouTube stuff is pretty packed. But yeah, lots of content, and this just helps me keep track of it. Yeah, I really love this section. I use it all the time. I'm not going to show you December because I have upcoming plans happening, but this just helps to keep track of what I have going on and when it's going up in my channel. I really love it. Now also, oh, I didn't talk about my little divider-y things. Okay, well, I'll talk about those in a minute. I didn't bring them to show you actually. Okay. These are like file tabs. So I always have, let's see if I can bring this up and show you without showing you anything private here. So I have them written. So the journal tab, come on, focus camera. There we go. The journal tab is always on whatever current page in my tarot journal I'm working on. The this week tab there is always on whatever my current week is in my planner. What else do I have? Oh yeah, my weekly decks has its own tab so that I can quickly turn, oh, there's spoilers there. So I can quickly turn to my weekly decks. And then in my YouTube one, the tabs I have are my planner tab for my current month. And let's get to the other one. I've got a section in here for faves. I think I've only got November showing. Yeah, I haven't created my December pages yet, but this is how I track my favorites. I create a grid and I track my decks, my books, food, memories, TV, movies, YouTube, magic. I smudge the crap out of all of these pages. We'll talk about that more when I talk about ink. And then that's how I keep track of my monthly favorites. So I really love doing that. Next is a wish tab where I keep my wish list. I'm going to keep that private for now because I'm pretty sure I'm going to be talking about that in an upcoming 3 Fat Readers episode. I also have a list here where I keep decks that I am preparing to sell or rehome. And I also have a section here, yeah, I'm going to keep all this private. I also have a section here where I track all the video ideas and requests that I've had, which, you guys, this list is massive. I end up having room for all of this because the way that this particular planner insert is set up is it gives you a month at a glance for, I think, a full year, or maybe only 6 months, but I think it's a full year. And then it gives you like blank bullet journal pages in the back, which is what lets me do those extra sections. And then on the back, I just have a Goulet pen sticker. So that brings me to my last insert. Now this insert, what do I have in the back? Oh, okay, that's just one of Peggy's things. This one is meant to not be replaced, hopefully ever. I don't think I'll ever fill it up entirely, but never say never. This is like my personal little black book, I guess, but it's my personal reference book. So what I have on here is my sun, moon, and rising sign. I have these are stickers that Samantha Menzo does, and she's painted these and then made them into vinyl stickers. You can order those from her. I'll try to remember to have a link to that down below. But this is my personal little white book, and I can probably show you a fair amount of this. This is also Tomo River paper. Like all of these inserts are all Tomo River paper. Which I love, again, because I feel like I get many more pages and it doesn't take up as much room. I don't always keep my indexes up to date. This is a little cheat right up here in the corner that tells me how many squares, because this is a grid style, how many squares I have across and how many I have down, which is useful when I'm planning out what I'm going to put on a particular page. So in here, I have my numerology and tarot. These are my personal numerological keywords from doing the tarot on Earth. If I remember, I will link that playlist in the cards for you so you can see that. But I did a whole, I worked through the entire book, Tarot on Earth, and I sort of hosted a bit of a series on my channel about that. And these were what I came away with, my own personal numerological keywords. Next, I have my elemental keywords that I work with on this page, and then we get into the tarot. So I do have these little tabs. Yeah, so I have a tab for tarot that starts here, and I go through the major arcana, my sword suit, cups, pentacles, wands. This is some more artsy stuff. I pulled this out of the Wee Moon 2019 book, and this was just a really cool poem called Goddess Speed, and it was very fiery, and so I took this artwork and just kind of made it a whole thing. Super fun. Then I do have this tabbed with a little Lenormand tab so that I can go right to this page. These are my personal Lenormand keywords, and this is constantly evolving. I sometimes white out sections and add a different keyword as my practice with Lenormand continues to evolve. If you are into Lenormand at all, I highly suggest you create your own personal list. And I use this like a guidebook. When I'm reading Lenormand, I always refer to my personal keywords and use that as my jumping off point for my readings. And then I have a bunch of spreads. So this is where I keep all the spreads I want to be able to do regularly. So I filled this up. I just need to make another section because I've started putting more on a sticky note. But these are 3-card tarot spreads that I just love, and I always write who they're by if I know as well. And there's just so many good 3-card spreads. I love referring to this. When I want to do a reading for myself, I almost always flip to this section first, and I see if one of these feels like it's the right spread for my reading. Then I have a section for 4-card spreads that is also almost completely full. But there's some gems in here, like the Bad Mood spread that I found online. A bunch of spreads that I've created are in here. I just love that. And then this is my personal trajectory spread that I created, a long-term relationship spread that I created, looking for love, month ahead. There's anytime I see a spread that I want to keep, it goes into the book. And I like to use highlighters to kind of color code to make it easy to cross-reference what the spread position is with the card image up there. There's a bunch of good stuff in here. There's some great stuff in here, and I've got almost all of these spreads that you see here are actually spreads that I use for clients, and I actually have most of these available in my shop. So if you go to supportivetarot.com and you look to book a reading, a lot of these readings you will see in my shop as ones you can book with me. I also have a quick reference guide to some tarot shorthand. This is a mix of a couple systems that I found on like Pinterest and stuff for bullet journaling. And I like to have this here because I may eventually use this system again in the future, but I loved using this system to quickly jot down what my card pulls are. Right now I'm using the photo system with the Ivy printer, but this is a really useful system to me, and I know it really well because I used this system for a while in other tarot journals. So I just called it Tarot Shorthand. And then these are all my notes on runes that I used a combination of web research and also using the rune learning cards, and I just jotted a bunch of keywords down for divination, magic, and reversal, and I refer to this every single day. Some shadow work spreads, more spreads I want to add. I recently saw a fantastic one on Nina at Sheffel Tarot's site. I think it's from the Tarot of the She. Yeah, I wrote that down. And it's called the Septagram Spread of the Whole Self, and that looked really good. So that's where I'm at with that. And I just keep adding to it. And because it is an open format kind of journal, I can easily keep adding to it. Now what's nice about this one, I don't know if you noticed, but there are actually, you can actually see on the back here, there are actually 4 elastics in here. So if I didn't have this particular one at the bottom with both my planners in there, if I didn't have those jump banded together, I would basically have space in here for 4 inserts, which is perfect for me. I have my little black book, my YouTube planner, my tarot journal, and my weekly planner, and that has been a system that has evolved and been perfected throughout the year, and now it's exactly what I need. The back has a nice big pocket as well, and I just love this. This one's a really nice leather, but it's quite thick, so this one feels really sturdy, and it's just holding up really, really nice. It has a built-in pen loop in the back. So yeah, I'm going to talk about pens and stuff now because I want you to know what I'm using and why I'm using it, the way I'm using it, and all that good stuff. So the main pen I'm using right now for journaling, and I think I might be about to switch this out because it has some small flaws, is my Monteverde, I forget what the name of this one is now, Prima, Monteverde Prima. And this pen is got an extra fine nib on it. This is my fanciest pen that I own. I love it. It's super pretty. The problem I have is this grip because I always tend to hold down low, and I'm trying to get better at that, but this nib is giant. It just is really big. So holding it back makes me feel like I'm really far away from the paper. And let me grab some scrap here and show you what I mean. So when I'm writing in this, I have a tendency to hold it too low down, and there's something about the feed or something, but it's got like a really nice fine point on it. But when I hold it down low, I always get ink on my thumb and ink on my finger. And I think it's just that there's not enough separation between the grip and where the nib starts that for me, and I'm not like a fountain pen aficionado or anything, but it's just harder for me to use. I like the extra fine tip though for my journaling because it lets me just write more and have it be legible after. But I really like this pen. I just feel like I might need to, I don't know, it's not been as good for journaling because it just bugs me that I keep holding it too low and that the nib feels so big. But that's that one. Now I currently have this one inked up with a sample ink. I can't remember which one, but I think it was one of the Iro Shizuku inks, which I'll talk about in a minute, but I really like this. This has been my main one for writing anything that I need to fit in a smaller space. So I always have that one in the back. The other pen that I keep in there is my Lamy All-Star, and this one is really nice. This one is in a medium point, which is sort of the standard Lamy point. Lamys are nice because they have this grip that's like ergonomic, so it's got like this triangle grip on it. Hello, there we go. It's got this triangle grip, and if you can see, there's like a little raised part here that keeps my fingers away from the dang feed part here. So I never get ink on my fingers when I'm using this pen, which I really appreciate. I actually kind of like that it also has a push cap as opposed to a twist cap because it just feels really easy to use. I have converters in all of my pens, but this one is the Lamy converter. And it's just really, really easy to use. I just really, really like this pen. It writes really smooth, but it is a slightly thicker line. So when I want to journal in a small space, oh, we're kind of not as smooth right now for some reason. When I want to journal in a small space, this one is just a little thick. I don't know why it's so dry right now. It's usually super juicy. Anyway, I really like that one. And typically when I'm carrying my notebook in my bag to work and stuff, I have the notebook like upright. Do you know what I mean? Like, so the pens are always stored point up when they're being moved around. I think I got that tip from Dustin at Modern Metaphysic Man, who really re-enlivened my love of fountain pens for sure. So he's like to blame for most of my fountain pen purchases, I feel like. I mean, I'm to blame because I bought them, but you know. So let's talk about a couple of my other pens, well, all of my other fountain pens. So my very favorite pens actually are these TWSBI Eco pens. These are like everything I want in a pen. They're amazing. I wish I had like a dozen of these with different nib sizes, but my very first one I bought was this one here in white, and this one has a stub nib, which is really fun. It's a nib that's broad and has like a wide tip, so I'll show you kind of what that looks like. It sort of writes in this really beautiful italic. It makes you feel, oh, I didn't do that very well. It makes you feel super fancy. Let's see if I can zoom in and I'll show you what it looks like as you write with it. But it, like if you hold it at like about a 45-degree angle, you get these beautiful italic effects. It's so stunning, and it takes no effort because it's just a wide flat tip. So it naturally draws a thin line when it's going side to side and a fat line up and down. And that's what makes it so fun to write cursive with, because it gives you that fun effect with, again, very little skill involved at all, which I appreciate. I use this pen to title anything. If I'm titling my journal entry of the day, in my tarot journal, I use this. And this is inked up with, let's talk about ink since we're here. This is inked up with my fanciest ink, which is this Emerald de Chivor 1670. This has got a really pretty golden fleck in it. I'll show you what the bottle looks like. It's so gorgeous. You'll be able to see the gold in the bottle, actually. It's a really fancy ink bottle. What I love about this, you see the gold in the bottom? It's all settled right now because I haven't used this. I haven't had to re-ink this pen in a while. But it's got this, I don't know if you'll see it in the barrel of the pen. Usually it settles in one spot and you can kind of see it. Anyway, it's got this gold fleck, and when you write with this ink, let's see if I can get the light to oh, you might be able to catch a bit of it. You get this like gold shimmer that lingers. It's so pretty. This ink takes a bit of time to dry, I've noticed, so I have to be patient with it. I almost always smear it, and I don't even care because it's so beautiful. I don't know that I would buy any others of these. This one will probably take me a very long time to go through, but I love having it. I really enjoy using it, and it's definitely one of my favorites. I wish it was a bit more water resistant because I definitely get this all over my fingers all the time. But what I love about these TWSBI Eco pens is this barrel. It like holds a ton of ink. So I'll show you. Oh, that's right, I can't take it off. So this is all one solid piece, the body, and you have this like, the bottom part here twists, and it's like it's called piston fill. So you put the whole thing in your ink bottle and you just twist, and it draws the ink up into the body, and it just holds so much. Very rarely do I have to re-ink these. They last forever. So I love that. And they had a special edition come out earlier in 2019 in this transparent purple, and I had to have it. So this one I got in a fine tip, and this is probably my favorite pen to write with right now, to the point where I'm actually thinking of switching out this pen for this Monteverde, because it's still a nice fine line. I'll show you what this one looks like. Let's zoom in on the paper here. I've got this inked up with a really pretty ink, which I'll talk about in a second, but this one's got a really nice fine line. And I love this one too because, again, there's a lip. The stub one has this too. Come on, focus you. Hello, there we go. It's got a bit of a lip up at the top, so my fingers don't get, see look, I've got ink on me, but my fingers don't get on the feed, so I don't end up getting ink all over my fingers. I love this one. I love that it's clear and you can see easily how much ink you have. These are my favorites for sure. Let's zoom this back out. Now I have this purple capped one inked up with, this is my newest ink, and it's definitely my favorite of all my inks right now. It's a Noodler's ink called Black Swan in Australian Roses. And you can't really see it in the bottle, but you can kind of get a feel for the tones here on the label, and you of course saw it here on my page. But it's like a blackened rose color. Yeah, I mean, Black Swan in Australian Roses is a perfect name for it. This is a water-fast ink, and I have a ton of it. And this is the only ink I've been using that just, well, actually it's not the only one, but it's one of the only ones I've had that doesn't smear on me. I don't know if it's that I have like moist fingers, sorry for using that word, but I feel like every time I'm touching like my pages that I've already written on, they smear, except for this one. And yeah, I'm not even sure if my other pens smear, but this one definitely doesn't. And I think it's because it's so water resistant. So I love that. Okay. I know this is like a million hours long, but I really like talking about all this stuff. So that brings me to my last two fountain pens. These were my first, well, technically they were my second. I was into fountain pens when I was much younger, and then I just kind of fell out of habit of using them. And fountain pen technology is so much better now than it was when I was a kid, for sure. But these are the best fountain pens. If you are just getting started with fountain pens, these are like foolproof. They're so easy to use. They're developed for kids. The only thing that I wish they had that they don't is they don't have like a clip, which makes them kind of annoying if you put them into a pen loop and it's too loose or something, because they'll fall back out. These are so nice. They're plastic, they're lightweight, they're really easy to use. This purple one I think was my first one. I got this one in an extra fine nib, and look at the nibs, you guys. They have like a little, see if it'll focus. Come on, focus, there we go. It's got like a little smiley face on the nib, and these have a very similar barrel to the TWSBI Eco pens. They've got a bit of a lip so you don't get your fingers on the feed. They're clear so you can see how much, you know, how your ink is flowing, and it's kind of cool to be able to see it. This is the extra fine, and because it's a Japanese pen, the extra fine is like extra fine, because Japanese pens, let's get it going, I haven't used it in a bit. Come on, you can do it. It's usually pretty juicy even for an extra fine, but I have not used this pen like literally in like a good couple of weeks. I should have like stored these so that I could get it going. Some of you are probably like, oh my God. Okay, let's put this one upright for a second. Okay, my other one is this pink one. This is in a medium nib. Let's see if this one's gonna write for me. Come on. These ones don't get as much love anymore, so they're kind of hard starting. They're usually pretty good though. Worst demonstration ever, I recognize. Let's get her going. There we go. We're still a little bit dry. Usually I need to let any of my pens sit kind of upside down for a few seconds before I work with them. Yeah, they're still pretty dry. These poor neglected Kakunos. They do write really good. I'm just terrible at showing it apparently. The cap is nice and secure. It does hold ink, which does get on the base when you post the cap, but I really love these. I'm going to show you what it looks like inside. So these are actually cartridge pens, but you can get a pilot converter for it. Oh, that's why. We're out of ink. That explains why you were being so dry. I wonder if my purple one's out of ink too. Bet it is. Bet that explains. So, like, they always write so nice. Let's see. Let's see. Are we low? Okay, guys, this is what happens when you don't have a clear barrel. You can't see how much ink. No wonder they were writing like crap. Anyways, so I have to re-ink those. I'll show you the inks that I usually keep in these two. So I usually keep, I love this Iroshizuku brand of ink. I really like them. The inks are really good. They've been really steady. They dry quickly, and I find them really nice to use. The bottles are really nice. So I have this, what's this one called? Susuji, and it's like this deep rosy pink. You can kind of see. It's actually very close to the Black Swan in Australian Roses, but it's more pink. So I have that ink that I really enjoy, and that's what I usually keep in this pink capped pen. In the purple capped pen, I typically keep this inexpensive Waterman purple. This one's been great. I think it calls itself Violet. Tender purple ink, actually, is what it calls itself. This is great. This ink was really inexpensive on Amazon. I think it was like $9 or something. And that's what I usually keep in this extra fine purple. What's nice about the Kakunos is that the tips are a little bit finer typically. So the extra fine is like really extra fine, and the medium is kind of more like a regular fine tip, which I started to mention earlier and then got distracted, but there you go. So really like that. Currently in my Lamy All-Star and in this are some samples. So when I order ink or pens from Goulet Pens, you can usually for a couple of dollars get some surprise me. You can get, I think you can get specific samples, but I usually have them surprise me. And so yeah, here's one that I've clearly, I think I've used both of these, but so this one is Urban Blue Calanquy. I'm just gonna show you. But they come with enough of a sample usually to fill a pen. And this one is Cassia by Rohrer and Klingner. But I think they're about $3 each, or $2.50 or something for a sample. So I've been using up my samples lately, so that might be why I'm having lots of smearing, because I'm using kind of whatever ink. Don't be alarmed, this is a syringe. Our dog is diabetic, so I stole one of his syringes. So this is actually not the kind of syringe you would normally get to fill a pen, but recently I have been filling my pens. These ones I haven't tried yet. I don't think these can be filled with a syringe very easily because they're that piston fill mechanism. But the other pens I have that have cartridges, you can just take the cartridge off and then draw up the ink in a syringe and then insert it into the cartridge. It's so much easier than sticking the entire nib of the pen down into the bottle and then trying to fill it. It's so much nicer. So I've been doing that lately, so I just keep this particular, I kept trying to twist that. I keep this syringe in with my samples, and that way it's available to me when I want to fill. The only inks I think I haven't shown you because they're not in any of my pens right now is the other Iroshizuku ink I have, which is this Sukiyo ink. This is a really beautiful deep teal. It's kind of like a blackened teal, so it's a perfect everyday ink for me. It's a little more interesting than just a standard blue. Sorry. It's literally that color. It's really a nice ink. I love this one. And as soon as I'm out of my samples, it's what I'm going to be refilling my main writing pen with. I love this ink. It was my first bottled ink, I believe, that I bought. And the other ink that I have here that I don't have in a pen right now is this Organic Studio Nitrogen ink. Whoop, throwing it around. This one is so pretty. I don't have it in anything right now, so I can't really show you. I wonder if I can carefully, this is like an accident waiting to happen. Okay, so it looks like a deep blue, but what it really is a color shift. So it kind of goes blue to red to purple. It's so stunning. And you guys, it smears so bad. I don't have this in any of my pens right now because it's so impractical for me to use, but it is so beautiful. I've heard somebody say that if you add a little bit of water to this, that it does a better job of drying, but I haven't tried it yet. Look at how much ink I have on me from playing with my pens. So funny. And the only other thing I wanted to show you was I do have some spare pilot converters and cartridges for my Kakunos. I probably won't ever use these, but they're there in an emergency, I suppose. Okay, the only other thing that I think I wanted to mention that I really like using in my journaling practice or with my TN are a couple of the more like little extra things. And that is, I like using washi tape. I have a whole bunch of washi tape. This is just a small selection. You can get samplers at Michael's with washi tape. Now at first I didn't really know what you were supposed to do with washi tape. I was like, what is the point? But it really is just to add a little decorative splash. You can literally tear off a piece and use it like a sticker. But I also, look at this cute gummy bear one. I got this one at the dollar store. How cute is that? But you can also use it to like insert things into your journal. Like when I showed my birthday day here, let's see, get back to it. I stuck these ones on, but then I just tipped in, is what you call it. Use a little washi tape on the back, a little washi tape on the front, and now I've got this like little added photo, but I can still see what was underneath. I want to do some more of this because I really like doing this as part of my journaling, like for my planning and stuff. I like being able to put that sort of stuff in there. So that's what, I always have a little bit of washi tape with my journal so that I can do that if I want to. And the only other thing I wanted to show you guys that I find super handy is this Tombow Mono Dots adhesive. So this is like, it's literally like one of those whiteout tape roller thingies, only what it's got is little teeny, let's see if I can show you, little teeny adhesive dots. I don't know if the light will pick them up. You might be able to, there we go. So they're teeny little clear dots of glue. So if you print out, like let's say you don't have one of these Ivy printers, but you wanted to put in your spreads every day, you could literally print them with a color printer, cut them out, and just use this as glue. So you just stick it on the back of whatever you want to glue into your journal, and then it becomes like a sticker, and you can just stick it in there. So these are super handy, and this was what I thought I was going to be using most of the time, and then I got that Canon Ivy, and that's what I've been using ever since. So I know that was a lot. This has probably been a bazillion hours long. We'll see when I actually go to edit it. But I hope that gave you an idea of how I am doing my planning and my tarot journaling. I freaking love this system. I used to use different journals for my planning. I had a different journal for my tarot journaling. Like I had YouTube in a different spot. Like having everything all in one like this has been so useful. I don't see myself changing this system anytime soon. It's a little less exciting at the beginning of January though, because everything I have is kind of, it just kind of goes forward from wherever I'm at. I don't have like that moment where you get to take everything out and start a brand new journal. So I kind of have a little bit of planner journal envy for everybody that's getting to do that right now. But my system is so perfect for me that I'm just going to keep rolling with what I'm doing now and change it if or when I feel like I need to change it. One thing I really love about Traveler's Notebooks is that you can change one element. Like if I no longer want to have a weekly planner and I want to switch out to a monthly planner, I can do that. If I want to start using a more structured system for my tarot journaling, I can get a blank planner insert and use that. I will say that I really love going to independent creators to get my inserts. This Good Ink Pressions company has been such a dream to work with. I think they're based in like Spain or something, but they have reasonable shipping rates and they really, really high quality papers in their journals, which I super appreciate. If you don't know much about Tomo River paper, as I said, it's really nice for fountain pens. It's thin, so you can kind of see a little bit of ghosting on the other side of the page, but it never bleeds. You can frickin' paint on this. It's foolproof and I just love it. It's so silky smooth to write on and I love that when I'm working with, it's just a pleasure. It just makes it feel luxurious to write. And yeah, you can find all kinds of inserts on Etsy. You can find inserts that are planners. You can find inserts that have different layouts in them. Some people print things that they can then stick in as like layout pages. There's like so many things you can do. But I just love how flexible this system is. And since I'm somebody who changes her mind fairly regularly about what's working, the fact that I've stuck with it for as long as I have and feel no need to tweak or change anything, I think says a lot about the system as a whole. And yeah, I just really, really enjoy it. So thank you so much for hanging out with me during all of the stationery, notebooky, geeky talk. I hope that those of you who have been waiting forever for me to do this have gotten a chance to see it. And I hope you guys all have a great rest of your day. I'll talk to you later. Bye.